Well, Matt, we ran into each other in Arc Raiders. We had a firefight. You killed me. It was a little suspect, I'm not going to lie. But what was really cool is that Arc Raiders, they gave me back all my loot because they have cheater compensation in there. So they saw that you were up to some nefarious stuff. And they went, you know what? You got killed in a dishonest way. Here comes your loot back. And I was like, that is a cool quality of life feature. You know,
That is such a nice feature. Yeah, that is such a great feature. That definitely happened between the two of us.
it
Yeah.
did. It did. You know how we run
Funny,
into each other. Yeah.
I did actually run into a friend while I was playing solo. And I was like, whoa, wait, I know you. It was great. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. And so you
Yeah.
recognized each other's voices because it doesn't show
Yeah.
names, right?
No, it does show names.
Oh, it does.
Not only did I recognize his voice, but it also showed his name. And I was like, wait, what are you doing here?
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Man, we've both been playing a ton of Arc Raiders since it came out so many days ago on the 30th. But
Yeah.
it feels like it's been a long time for me because I just can't put the game down.
You have somehow played more Arc Raiders than me.
And I have
don't know
children.
how you've
my
done
poor
this.
kids. My poor kids.
I see you up like late at night burning the midnight oil. I'm like, wow, he is vibing with Arc Raiders, and good.
It's that's dad gamer time right there, because any time during the day when my children are awake is not gamer time. Basically,
Right.
If I start gaming, they'll come and they'll be like, "What you doing? What's that over there? What's that? Can I sit on your lap while you play?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is not going to go well." All right, gonna run some free loadouts. It's a blast, dude. It's like a masterpiece. I can't get enough of the game. It's so good. And
It's very good. It's very addicting. There's something about it that just works.
Yeah.
And it all comes together.
There's a huge amount of so that little cheater compensation thing is a real thing. So people have been reporting, like, you can report a death. You go, hey, I don't know how I feel about this death. Something was off. Report it. They'll look into it and they're like, oh yeah, this guy is cheating. Look at his account or whatever. And then they'll give you back all the loot that you lost if you got killed by a cheater.
Which is really cool.
And then all the other quality of life stuff that they have in this game. There's so much tiny little things that are just like, oh, it just works. It's nice. It's convenient. It's just really well thought out. Like, they didn't rush this game out the door with like any last minute. Like, they're like, oh, I wish we could have done all these things. It's like, no, they did all the things that they wanted to do. They put a product out that like got the time it needed, and it's incredible. And they peaked day 2 after launch. They didn't hit their highest player count on their first day, which is interesting. I think the marketing for this game, while good, is not as good as the actual game itself, which is funny, if that makes sense.
Well, and it's getting word of mouth now.
Yeah. But like other games that get super hyped up, you see the highest player count on like first day and then it drops off. I feel like Arc is like, because it didn't quite have this crazy marketing sensation, perhaps as like a mega AAA studio, it's getting more of that from the word of mouth now. And people are going, oh, yeah, this game is kind of like magic. And it's hard to understand from the trailers why it looks so cool. Because I'll be honest, the very first reveal trailer for Arc Raiders, I was like, okay, we'll see where this goes. Like, I have no idea what this is.
I constantly get questions while I'm streaming about, why is this game good? Why are people hyped about this? I just don't understand the hype. And I get it, because you look at it and you're like, this just looks like a third-person extraction shooter. What's the deal? But you start to immerse yourself into it, like the moment-to-moment gameplay, everything around you. We've talked about this numerous times, but it is the overall package that just sells it. And you kind of have to watch it or play it to really understand why it is so fun.
Yeah. And we have talked about it before, but now the game is like actually out and we can do all the progression and all the stuff. And it's still great. It's like,
very good.
I thought we were going to start running into issues with it. And we can talk about some things there where it's like, maybe.
Oh, I have my problems with it.
Yeah. Well, I know one that we agree on is duos matchmaking.
Yes.
I think Duos has the potential to be the most fun mode in it, because the duo dynamic, I think, would work extremely well in Arc Raiders. It's one of the more fun dynamics in many other extraction style or royale style games, in my opinion. And when you matchmake in Arc Raiders, the odds of you only seeing duos are like, I don't even know how many times we've actually run into another duo while matchmaking for duos. We're always running into trios.
Yep.
And sometimes we win, but I mean, I've been playing with like the most tryhard players ever in duos, and sometimes we'll just get pushed by a 3-man, and it's like, it's hard to beat the third guy, man. Yeah. It's this isn't Battlefield where you can just like kind of quick peek and drop a few people and like take out a whole squad solo. You could do it if you're like Shroud or something and you're just dropping people with the anvil. But the third man in this it's no joke. Like you usually only have enough mag to drop like one guy and then reload. And it's tough. It's really tough to combine the different numbers of players together. So that is one angle of the game that I think just needs some work. It doesn't seem like they couldn't make it work. I don't understand.
Well, they do solos, and solos will prioritize other solo players. And I think for the most part, I almost have never come across a duo.
Same.
I come across people running around together because, and I don't know if it's because the game just came out, and people are getting used to things. And once things get more established and people have better gear and they know the maps more, that's when the PvP will start to ramp up in solos. And it's starting to do that a little bit. But man, I was on Blue Gate, which is the hardest map so far, I think, in terms of difficulty. And like, I'll run around and I'll just be like, hey, I'm friendly. And then like, you'll get like 5 people chasing around with you, just hanging out, taking out Arc. And it's super wholesome, you know? And at that point, especially because it's solo, as long as you don't have anyone that's an asshole and will betray you, which has happened, and they have no shame. You're basically safe from other raiders because they see like 4 other people running around in solo, and they're all going to blast you if you try to start like, a fight or something. So yeah, no, it's a very cool experience to have like a friendly aspect of the game.
Yeah. And solos is so good. Like I like playing with friends. It's great in parties, but also solos work so well. And it's funny because like I have noticed this sort of very, hey, let's just be cool, man, kind of attitude about solos. And I change from round to round depending on what I'm in the mood for. But I'll be honest with players. Like I'm not going to I've had players go, hey, you want to team up? And go, cool. I come out with them. Second, I like let my guard down. They shoot me in the face. I'm like, who are you? You sociopath monster.
That's my hard rule too. If I say I'm going to be friendly, I will be friendly. If you are someone, and I had this happen, his name was Corey. Oh my God, Corey, you know who you are. We were cool for a while, like 5 minutes, and then I go to loot something and he shoots me while I'm looting. It's like, that is so like unbelievably
scumbag.
Like scum. I'm like, I mean, congratulations on the loot, I guess, but like now you have to live with that. So enjoy the shame. I don't like, I have no problem with PvP, but if you aren't a man of your word, then who are you, right? Like who are you? So I also will just, when I'm solo, I'll be friendly like one round. Actually, I'll be friendly at the beginning or like at the end. And then I've already taken out like 2 people before that, right? Because like it just really depends on the situation. It depends on how you're feeling.
Totally. So when it comes to the extract, if somebody's started the elevator and I see them, and I'm coming to I want to extract too, it means we both have good loot. We're probably not looking to try and min-max our loot by killing another player and trying to do it right next to an extract elevator with other players around. You just yell out, you're like, hey, let's go down together. We can be cool. And like, I'd say 9 times out of 10, they're pretty cool about it.
Most people are pretty chill.
But then in the middle of a round, if I hear somebody, they run past me, I get an easy kill on them. Like, the comms on them is nuts. They're like, yo, monster. I'm like, oh, this is the game, dude. Like, what do you want?
And it is the game. I don't want people to. I'm not worried about this because I think it's not going to be a problem. But like the first day when everyone was so friendly, I'm like, okay, we can't establish this game to be when you're playing solos, it's just you versus Ark, because I don't want this game to be a PvE game.
Yeah.
The PvE is great. It's very good. But I think it's the PvP that makes it exciting for that moment to moment, because that's really what the biggest threat for most of the time is going to be other players. And if you eliminate that entirely, the game loses a lot of its luster. So I don't want everyone to be friendly. But that said, I do like that the player base will band together sometimes. It actually, I think, enhances the experience.
Yeah, and the fact that Embark put in like your little emote wheel on the bottom has a like, hey, let's work together emote.
Yeah.
And you yell that, your character can just yell that out to somebody. And it's like, oh, they're not trying to stop teaming or whatever. They're trying to get you to work and like have a dynamic experience. Sometimes you're just going to go in bloodthirsty and kill everything that moves. And other times you're like, yeah, we're all working together. And it is really cool to see those things happen. And I've noticed players helping each other out a lot with like, I'll be fighting, I'll get over my head with some Ark, and like all of a sudden somebody else will shoot down the Ark, and then we're like, oh, we're friends now. We're friends.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I had one moment where I didn't want to lose my loot, and I just gotten betrayed a couple of times. So there was a dude that was looting something by an extract, and I shot him. And we took him out. And then I was like, whoa, don't give up, because I then activated the lift, and I had him go into the lifts with me, and then we went down together. I was like, I ain't trust anyone right now, but I didn't want to. I had a full bag, right? But I was like, I don't want to trust you right now. So yeah, it's a cool system. Though I was fighting a Bastion, which is an absolute beast of a unit solo. I was fighting it solo. It was making a ton of noise. I couldn't hear a goddamn thing. That thing is way too loud.
Yeah.
Small critique. This absolute rat, I'm talking rat, walks up behind me. I turn around. He's just right there out in the open, starts shooting at me. And then I kill him somehow. I don't know how. And I'm like, do you have any shame, as he, dies? Yeah. So the community is definitely, people will take advantage of the fact that you are fighting a big boss, and I don't blame them, but I kind of blame them to some extent, but yeah.
It's funny to see, man, there's been the Ark is like a fun third party element to it as well.
Yeah.
I was playing solos earlier today, and I was kind of getting up next to an extract, and I was kind of surveying to see if anybody was there on spaceport, kind of looking around. And I was hiding between two rocks, and I hear a guy come up behind me. He doesn't hear me. I pop out. He like brings his weapon out, and I take him down. And then he's like calling out to some other guy he's working with. The other guy comes in. We're fighting. The Ark come in. I kill the second guy. And then like at that point it was a snitch, and I got all these wasps on me, and I couldn't make it out. And they were like, yeah, that's what you get. And I was like, what do you mean that's what I get? You guys were just teaming together.
Yeah, it's good though.
It's really fun. I've seen the argument where people are like, oh, I want the PvE mode where like I don't have to worry about other players. And on one hand, I'm like, I do want everybody to experience the world of Ark, even people who aren't like, PvP people. But this is sort of, people have called it like kind of a casual extraction shooter to a degree.
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
More so than others. Tarkov.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And even Hunt Showdown is pretty hardcore too. People are not super friendly in that.
Yeah.
He'll just be walking and die to a sniper shot. You're like, okay.
Yeah, they're very good.
So it definitely is. But yeah, without that PvP element, you're not going to be creeping around and stalking through the bushes and kind of heart racing at moments where you're like, oh God, did that guy see me? Oh no, did I make too much sound? Is a player going to hunt me down? Like that creates the sense of this real sense of danger and fear in the environment, which I think it needs. It needs that PvP element.
Yeah, I'm not trying to dictate anyone else's fun, because if someone just wants PvE, fair. But I don't think the game would be the same. It wouldn't be the same. It just would not be the same game. I don't think that it would be anywhere near as enjoyable.
What do you think about teams trying to take down the queen, and then somebody just being like, oh, I'll just shoot those people fighting the queen? Like, because that's a long fight, right? That takes a long fight,
and people are going to know that it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Makes
there's
it.
nothing you can do about it. That's the one question I have for what Endgame is going to be like,
Mhm.
because it feels like Endgame you're really going to have to bring just the juiciest loadout and hope that other teams are not going to be scum and stop you from. And they have every right to do it. But yeah, that's just kind of the risk you run, and I think that's why everything in this every arc in this game is designed to get you to engage with other players.
Yeah.
Not entirely, like you do need to take them out for quests and stuff like that, but you're going to be making a lot of noise when you're trying to creep around. You hear someone like rustling in a room. All of a sudden, there's like one of those little spider bots will show up, and you're like, "No, I'm trying to creep here," and
Yeah.
they do that intentionally so that you can't just
Mhm.
creep up around and sneak everywhere because they want other players to know that you're nearby.
Yeah.
The same way that Hunt Showdown has all those mechanics to like with the crows and the sticks and
This game has the
zombies and stuff
crows
like that.
also. It's this or
It does have the
pigeons,
crows,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got pigeons.
Yep.
Yeah. No, they do an excellent job of creating those engagements. And yeah, if you took the human element out of it, so much of the game wouldn't quite work. But yeah, I think one of the special factors of this one is the AI. They just are impressive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
seeing those little wasp drones, like how many games have we played where there's dumb flying drones that try and track you down? There's like dozens
there's tons.
of them,
Yeah,
you know?
there's a
That's
lot.
like the cheap AI bad guy that they throw into whatever crappy sci-fi game that you're playing. The ones in this just are so much better than anything you have ever seen before. With the little
Yeah.
wasps, like they'll detect you through a skylight of a building, then they'll come down and fly in through the front door and inspect the interior of the building. And you're like,
Yeah.
what other game does this? Like, that's
Yep.
insane. I had that happen to me on Spaceport, and I was just like, I wasn't expecting them to come into the warehouse I was hiding
Yep.
in. And they're like, oh,
You're like, I'm safe in here.
yeah,
Nope.
no, they come in, they hunt you down. They alert other players because, like, yeah, you can take them out. They're not gonna like murk you every time, but they get you when you're in an engagement with another player, or they alert other players, and then they become that weird extra factor that you really have to consider and worry about.
Right.
And they're just so
And then
dynamic too. Yeah.
the Rocketeer is terrifying because
Mhm.
it will investigate and it'll look in the like it's like it knows where entrances are. It knows
Yes.
it can't get in there, but it will just be like ominously just shifting on the outside, patrolling around.
Uh-huh.
And then if it does spot you, what's fascinating is it doesn't just shoot directly at you. It will shoot at the doorway.
Yes.
Or does splash damage in the inside. So it just makes the AI feel really intelligent, but without being like oppressive about it. So they've done a fantastic job with it.
Yeah. They shoot
very,
it,
very
they
cool.
shoot at you like you would shoot at somebody if you had a
Right.
rocket drone. You'd be like, well, he's
Right.
in there. I'll just put a rocket through the front door and see if I get him. And that's
they
what
don't
they
shoot
do.
at where your character is. They shoot at what would actually deal damage to you.
Yeah. We're on Dam, and I aggroed a Rocketeer, trying to kill it, and my wolf pack split off and hit some other stuff or whatever. But it was looking at us through the little holes in the roof of the hydroponics facility. And it was finding little angles. It kept moving around, and we're like trying to hide in corners. Then it would get a rocket through the holes. And I was like, what is this thing? It's too smart.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Just a really impressive game. I'm starting to see stuff. So I don't know what Tarkov is like, and as far as it comes to loot runs, but I'm noticing now that like both with guides and what players have told me that they're doing when like we'll buddy up in solos. So we're like, oh, I'm just running my route, right? They've got their
Oh yeah,
route
that definitely
now.
happens, and that will always happen. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the game's made it pretty easy to like get started with loot and get some decent stuff and bring in some fairly good gear. It doesn't feel like you're ever risking quite too much. You can always bring in the crazy epic tier stuff if you want to, but you can bring in some fairly expensive stuff and not feel devastated if you lose it, which is nice.
Yeah, I am curious to see how balance works out for some of the perks, and might be where I have one critique. It's too early to tell, but there is the security breach perk, and that allows you to open up these little boxes that you normally would not be able to open up, and they're only in certain parts of the map, but the things inside of them are potentially crazy. Purple items, pink, the epic items. So you can get like
Okay.
bobcats, you can get like the big, really nice weapons, right?
Yeah.
And there's some places where they spawn. There's one where it spawns two right next to each other, and the only thing stopping you from getting in there is a breach door. So
Yeah.
you don't even need a key. So if you don't get that perk, which is a big investment, I think it's like 36 points or something in the
It's a
red
huge amount.
tier.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's like hitting level 35 only going into that one
Only going into the red
branch.
tier, right? So it's a big investment.
Yeah.
And you're not getting other perks along the way. So you're not getting you didn't get the stamina perks or anything in the green perk or anything
Yep.
like that. So it's a big investment. But like you can just go in, grab a bunch of just know the spots, grab all that loot, and then potentially just extract. And that seems really strong.
Yeah.
It just seems really potent. Like I don't know any other perk that has that potential to just get you a fully decked out purple loadout, not, obviously there are problems with it, but yeah, so that seems really strong.
Yeah.
What a really good counterpoint is that as you get further along, people are going to have that loot, and so that perk really is going to kind of fall down because you'd be better off having the sprinting or the stamina speed and things like that because you've already got the loot, right?
Yeah. Or multiple people will be going for that security locker because they have it.
Right.
The other counterpoint to that I would make is people were comparing things like the Bobcat to the Stitcher, which would probably be its equivalent. I guess there's only two SMGs in the game.
I think you're right.
Where it's inarguably a better weapon, but not by such an amount that it's like it's just a win button. It's like, if you're equally matched, you will beat the other player. But if they get the drop on you, like that's it. Like you can turn around and do some damage, but they're probably going to kill you before you kill them. And so
the weapon balance so far has felt really solid. I've been pretty impressed. Even like what you would assume is like a legendary item are usually legendary because they're good against going against the arc, and they'll still be really good against players, but they're that powerful so that you can go against the more powerful arc and not necessarily PvP.
Yeah. No, the guns are good. There is that one weapon that you can get from killing the queen, and then you can craft it with the queen's parts. Have you seen that?
I haven't done that at all. No.
Yeah. Tickle just messaged me and he's like, I got it. And he like had the actual gun. And I was like, you lunatic, dude.
Nice. That's sick.
I think he killed somebody who got it off of the queen. And I was like, oh, that's gotta be tough.
That's rough.
But yeah, some sort of uber tier weapon, which is cool. I like that they're adding that in the game. And I was thinking about the kind of the end game, more progression where people start hitting level 50 and 60 and they're going to add more maps. What I like so much about the maps in this is each one feels like its own adventure, and like you could spend 40 hours in a single map. And that's probably when you would start to really learn everything about it. But before then, you're like, oh, I've never been in this building. Oh, where's this? I haven't been here before. What? There's a passage that goes under here? That's crazy. And so allegedly, they have a whole bunch of maps in the works. We're getting a new one next month. Or
we're getting one this month.
This month. Right. Yeah. It's the 3rd.
Which I think was smart. It feels like they knew people were gonna absolutely just crush this game. And that they were gonna go no life for a couple of weeks, and then they're going to run out of content. It's just going to happen, right? It happens in Tarkov, and that game has 10 years of development and an insane amount of things to do. And so they've essentially time-gated the content that was probably ready for release. Let's be real. You're not going to have a map ready in a month right after launch, right? Like that takes a lot of time and investment. Yeah. And so it probably was ready for launch, but this kind of slows it down, keeps the game extended a little bit longer, but without feeling like they're time gating it, because there is a ton to experience in the base game.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, and I hope I don't like the loot run game meta, because I watched a video on a guy do a loot run on like Blue Gate, and it was just like he kept running the same tunnel system, and there's just loot rooms that you can get access to even without a key card that like he came away with like, 4 blue weapons in a run. And he's like, that was average, and he's just running down and no PvP, no nothing or whatever. Right. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird if that becomes the meta. I think it would be cool if, say, after you finish all your quests, the quest givers now start giving you more end game specific quests where they're kind of randomly generated, where it's more like go out here and kill a specific thing or whatever, and then I'll give you a good quest reward. And instead that keeps people, instead of running these very specific paths, instead going around to different areas and doing different things, as opposed to just laser beaming the same route over and over and over again to get all the best stuff and just being completely tricked out.
I don't think you're going to ever be able to remove that from extraction games because people, I mean, there is the randomization of the loot. That's always the thing, right? Because so you just, those loot routes get nerfed, you know? It's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have that many high potential loot spawns in a close proximity. Mm-hmm. But also, you know, it's what extraction shooters are. You just there's going to be loot and people are going to want to strive for it. And if that's what they find fun, then fine. But if that's all you're doing, you're just optimizing your gameplay to the point where all you're going for is those, then like what are you going to do with the loot? Are you going to actually do anything with it? Because if you're just going for the loot and you're not actually doing anything with it, then your fun, I feel like, is going to dry up pretty fast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's been fun too, just crafting and coming up with different builds and different, like, I got my economy build, I got my tryhard build, I got my like different variations of everything. I've been noticing you like the kettle a lot. You've been running with that and getting. I do like
the kettle. The kettle is just an old, reliable. It's good up close. It does well at medium range. It will absolutely it will get slapped if you're going against something like an anvil that's like highly upgraded. Level 4 anvil is insane with its rate of fire. That thing will just murder you. But you know, if you get the drop on someone, it's enough to just take someone out, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it. Yeah, it's a consistent weapon.
And I like that all the guns in the game kind of feel like that, where it's like, you can win with your level 1 starter gun against some dude with an upgraded thing. Like, you just get the drop on them, outplay them, you know, use some grenades, whatever.
Yeah. So do you want to get into things that are not great?
Yeah. Why don't you start it off? I already said that I don't like duos.
Yeah. Two of my biggest complaints is not a fan of the AI voice acting. It is so noticeable now. All of the voice I won't even say it's voice acting because it's not voice acting. The quest givers, it really takes away from like these quests when you're just hearing AI. I find it at least to be distracting.
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice it. I didn't.
Oh, 100%. It's
if nobody said it was Quest AI, I wouldn't have known. However, I also completely tune out the audio from any quest giver in any game.
Okay.
As soon as they start talking, I'm like, fair. Whatever, I'm going to think.
Right. So I was actually listening to the dialogue because I was trying to, understand the lore a little bit more and kind of understand like where maybe things are going to progress towards the new map. Yeah. So there's like rumblings of like tremors, and they're trying to figure out like where tremors are coming from. They're setting up like bases around the map. Yeah. And it's cool, but it's all delivered with AI, and it wasn't the play in my opinion. Yeah. There's excuses that they have so many lines of dialogue with like call outs. Your character, everything is situational, and your character will give a unique call out for that, which is really cool. And people are claiming like, oh, they wouldn't have been able, like, it's just too much work for a voice actor to do. It's like, come on, there's Baldur's Gate 3. You can't look me in the eye and tell me that there's no other game out there that has had this much lines of dialogue. Like that's just nonsense.
Yeah.
So
I'll do a little bit of devil's advocate for them on this front, in that I don't personally notice the AI quality as much. I wouldn't have actually even thought about it until you mentioned it, and I'll be listening for it now to see if it does bug me. But Embark, they're trying to create, it seems like their design philosophy is like they have a goal, but they're also keeping their designs loose so they can change and adapt and pivot. Just like Arc Raiders was going to be PvE only, and then they changed it to PvP, and it's still incredible. And you're like, that's a big pivot, but they made it work because they kept their studio loose enough. And with voice acting stuff, you have to plan out a huge amount of that design ahead of time, and then you can't really deviate because you're like, well, we already paid the voice actors, and then we can't get them back in, or they want more money for the second recording or whatever. Now we're stuck with their voices. There's a lot of complications with having to
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of iterative work with voice actors. I'm not saying you can't find good ones and that it wouldn't work, but it does seem like a very convenient solution for a studio to be able to pivot and try
It's a
stuff.
convenient solution that, in my opinion, has consequences because it has, in my opinion, lessened the immersion of what is an incredibly immersive experience. Everything else is very immersive.
Yeah.
But then you go back to the home base and you're listening to AI. And for me, it's a letdown. And I know that, like you said, it would probably lengthen the development process a little bit, but I can't. And from listening to voice actors that have expressed concern about this, like voice actors, like we are not that expensive. Like we will work with you. And it does seem like they're cutting corners because they can, and it is disappointing. So it's not the end of the world. The game is still really good, but that's definitely for me one thing that was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. I will say in your defense as well, I don't really recognize or remember any of the voices from the game. They're all very generic in that sense, where I'm like, there's no character that I'm like, oh, it's Peter Dinklage or it's Nathan Fillion or whatever, like characters where I'm like, they got that extra bit of style to their voice and personality. There isn't really much of that in here. So
it's very generic.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Do you have any other critiques on the game?
Yes, I do. And it is the menu system and UI when you're outside of a raid.
Yeah, it's awful. It looks good. Visually, it's nice. It's pleasing. Yep. Functionally, dear God, even I'm like 30 something hours into the game, whatever. Yeah. I hate it still. I still get lost.
Yeah.
You're like, there's not that much you have to do.
I want to buy something from someone. I'm like, okay, there's a trader. And then I'm like, okay, well now I would like to craft something. Like, okay, now, dude, it's a mess. My brain for some reason just will not wrap its head around all the different, like how to get to things quickly. And it just makes things
not your
really
fault.
clunky.
I've started to understand it, and it's actually a problematic system where you go, okay, if you hit tab, it switches you between two menu types.
Yeah.
But if you go to matchmake, then it takes you out of one of the menus, and then you have to cancel the matchmaking and then go back into it so you can properly switch between these. It's so convoluted and stupid, and it's not really that complex of it's just basic crafting, right? A billion games have crafting. So you get out of a raid, you got all your resources, you organize them a little bit, you break some down, you sell some, then you want to craft up gear for your next run. They make that so cumbersome and painful. And we were playing with somebody last night who it was kind of their first time in the game, and they were really struggling with it and getting frustrated. And we're like, sort of like, yeah, we know. Yeah, we know. And it's like, it's tough to watch a new person get into it. And even us who are like, yeah, I can get all my stuff ready, but there's too much time spent out of a match doing really cumbersome kind of bookkeeping type work where you're just like, oh, let me move some of that over there. Let me go make sure I've got enough of this crafted. Let me go do that. And it's just all over the place. Terrible.
What I think doesn't help is that if you could, before a raid or a couple of raids, just get all your meds ready. Like you've got, you just craft a bunch of meds, you craft a bunch of armor or ammo, armor, everything. So that once let's say you have a failed mission, you come back, you're just like, bop, 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 I got everything good to go. But because you have no inventory space in this game, you are constantly trying to keep things at a minimal. So you don't have a lot of ammo saved up because that takes slots.
Yeah.
And so like every single raid, not only are you having to remove things because you're just full, but then you're having to go in and then craft everything every single time because you just don't have the room to keep it in there just sitting, right? Yeah. And so it just compounds on that problem. So it becomes very tedious. Yep. I don't know if they need to add, I think there needs to be more loot spots just in general, either something for attachments because managing your attachments get really cluttered. You've got all of you either you put them on weapons and then you just kind of keep them there, or they take up a lot of inventory space because there's just a ton of them, right? Like you need, some weapons have 4 attachment slots they can have on them, and that's just going to add up fast. So maybe they could add like what Tarkov does, where they have like a separate tab for it, which is separate, or what
Path
have you
of
for meds and
Exile
ammo.
has tabs, you know, just whatever. And in those games, things stack reasonably as well. Like, I understand the stacking logic for raiding because they don't want you to be able to come out of a raid with stupid amounts of stuff.
Yeah, 25,000 of just this one item. Yeah,
but when
totally
it goes into your inventory, you're like, I'm out. So I've maxed out my inventory. I paid the $200,000 to get my last upgrade, which gives you 280 slots.
Which sounds like a lot.
Yeah, within another raid, I was full, and I've still got tons of quests and workbench stuff that I need to upgrade. Like, I just don't have the resources to do it all. And I have to keep all of that stuff because I'm like, well, I've got 12 out of 12 of these and 8 out of 8 of those, but I'm still only 1 out of 6 on the other item that I need. So I got to just keep stacks and stacks and stacks of stuff. Yeah. It's just an inventory nightmare. And I guess once I get all the upgrades, it'll be less of a headache, but that's a terrible solution to a really problematic system.
Yeah. I love the game.
Yeah.
The inventory management, it doesn't, I don't think that it doesn't ruin anything. No. But it is slow, it is clunky, and it definitely is, in my opinion, the weakest part of the game right now.
And it also keeps you from doing as much as you would like to do, especially when you're playing with friends, because you don't want to delay the party from matching again, right? So you're like, oh, I want to craft the thing and whatever. Oh, people are waiting, and this is going to take me 5 minutes to dance around all the inventory crap. So I'll just put on some crappy gear and not experiment and not have fun, and we'll just go again. And it's like that kind of degrades it a little bit, and they need to make it easier. I don't really mind how much it takes and all that stuff to craft things and build stuff. It's all kind of fine, it seems, the rates and ratios of stuff. It's just the logistics are a nightmare. And I think for whatever reason, Embark, I think, has the same UX designer from the finals, because the finals also is not a complicated game, but they somehow made a lot of their UI cumbersome and awkward. And you're like, none of this has to be weird to select stuff. I know they improved some of it, but especially at launch. It had a lot of...
I don't remember it being too difficult, but...
It's not now that you figured it out, because the finals is very simple. But I remember at launch just being like, why is this all in weird spots? And I just want to equip the right gadgets and weapons, and it's just being weird about it. Or I want to put the skins on the thing, and it's all in weird spots. So I think they just carried that over to a much more complex system. And now the lack of quality in their UX design is really showing. But yeah.
In-game UI is great. It's minimal,
fantastic.
Easy to read, legible, fantastic. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no complaints with it. Everything about the game is like near perfect.
One of the best things about the game.
Yeah.
One of the best is that you hit that play button and you're in a game in under like 10 seconds. Like you're bam, you're just like, you load it in. Tarkov is fun. But sitting in a queue for 10 minutes every single time. Yeah. Okay, it's not that bad anymore, but still, like having to wait multiple minutes just to get into a raid, then having to wait and sit there while everyone loads as well. It takes like 5 minutes. It is the clunkiest and slowest. And just to be able to get in and get out, that I know it doesn't sound like much, but it is such. It's so important in an extraction game, I feel.
Did you not enjoy their Nexus system where you had to like join a map and then use that map to join
and then
another
bounce
map?
Between
Super cool.
Which just extends the even more queue time. And then if anything goes wrong, like you lose everything.
You can tell when there's a solid idea at the core of a game design, but the designers have a lot of trash ideas that they keep throwing into it. And Tarkov feels like one of those games where you're just like...
Tarkov definitely has some odd choices,
You're very polite about it. It's an odd game in some ways.
But like genuinely, I think that Tarkov, a lot of the frustration with that would be alleviated by just you click the play button and then 10 seconds, 20 seconds later, you're in the next round, because it is so demoralizing when you die and you're like, not only am I going to have to go through the gauntlet of getting my loot ready, but then I have to wait just another 5-10 minutes just to get into the game. And it's rough. So it's so nice to play a game that seems optimized and is optimized and gorgeous and runs well.
And free loadouts are really fun to play too.
Just you're in.
You're in. I like free loadouts because I will play very loose and I'll go after Arc. I'll go after guys. I'll loot everything loudly. I just don't care. And those runs always end up, I'm walking away with like blues and purples. I'm like, what's happening, man? I was like, you just played like you don't care and you just got everything. Yeah. And that's fun. It's a lot of fun dynamics in that. Yeah. You want to talk? We've been talking about Arc for 40 minutes, man.
Because it's amazing and it should be talked about.
It is. It's a fantastic game, and it's probably like top of the year for me. And I can't wait to see what else they do. I can see so much future for this game. Like all they have to do is just keep adding content to it, and it's like.
I mean, we're getting 2 new enemy types too: the Shredder and the Matriarch. I think is the.
Matriarch sounds cool.
Shredder sounds terrible. What the hell is that? What is
all
that?
All the AI are so cool. I love how there's just an AI that's like a little sphere that rolls around and like doesn't do anything. You're kind of like,
it does something. It kills you. Those things are a menace.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. I was playing with somebody who's like, it doesn't do anything. I'm like, that's weird because in the playtest, I remember them rolling around and trying to like ram you and stuff.
The ball. You're talking about the surveyor. I got you. Yeah.
The surveyor.
I thought you were talking about the small balls would have like that disc around it. I was like, those things are terrifying. Are you kidding me?
You know what I just realized is like, okay, you have 3.
There's 3 balls in the game.
No, but there's 3 types of enemies. There's quadcopters of various sizes and weapons. Then there's spiders of various sizes of weapons. You got the ones that can jump on your back. You got big ones. You got massive ones. Then there's balls. Yeah. So you have quadcopters.
You got big balls, small balls, but the 3 different balls.
You know what I want? I want a gargantuan ball, Matt. I want one where you're just like, what is that thing up there? And it's just like a God!
And then it opens up like the chassis on the side and rockets fly out.
It'd be sick. Oh,
it'd be sick.
They can do so much. Their AI is so good that it gets me really excited for new AI coming to the game. Yeah. Like, oh, what's this gonna do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that is exciting. Okay. Let's talk about Battlefield 6 because we could talk about Arc for the whole podcast, and I would absolutely love to. Did you see that they're adding casual breakthrough to BF6?
They did, and apparently the player base wasn't even happy about that either. Man.
Yeah. So BF6 is a casual competitive game, more casual than competitive. I say casual competitive in the sense that you can join it and you can really want to be at the top of the scoreboard.
Yeah.
But there's no competitive scene for it.
There's no competitive scene. It is a casual arcade FPS game that
But you can play it competitively
grounded
if you would like to.
You can.
You can be that crazy little bird pilot who goes like 100 and 100 kills, 0 deaths, whatever. You can just get really competitive and crazy about it, but ultimately you're just playing against random people in a giant server and they're like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So they added casual breakthrough mode, which I think is sort of a fix-it for how much you have to spend progressing your weapons in the game. And I don't know if they knew like just how long it was going to take to get all the attachments, but it doesn't happen at a pleasant rate when you play normally. So if I just go out and I'm like, I'm going to use the Scar today in a game of Conquest. Cool. I got 15 kills this match. And it's like, you made half a level on your weapon or like maybe 1 level. And then you're like, okay, when do I get a suppressor? It's like level 37. You're like, what?
God,
yeah,
dude.
I gotta play 37 rounds to get a freaking suppressor on this thing.
Oh, so, you're gonna be playing more than 37 rounds to get that.
For sure. It's insane. So rather than changing the progression rate, which I don't know, I guess would upset people who put in the time, they
have made the first 20 levels faster.
Oh, first 20. Okay, I thought
first 20 levels are faster, and that gives you the majority of the things that you will need to make the weapon change and different, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't give you the best attachments, which would be
doesn't give you all the attachments,
extended mags, those types of things that really take a gun from like, yeah, that's good to, oh my God, it's amazing.
So I think the casual game mode I think is fine. I think they're trying to do a couple of things. One is to give players a chance to go against, have a more casual experience. If you are someone who just wants to go against mainly bots, then this is kind of a solution where you can play against a couple of people, but most of the enemies are going to be bots, right? If you want to be someone who wants to farm XP, you have a place where you have a place to do that, right? But I do think you get to the heart of the issue is that the reason why people are wanting to farm against bots is not because they're lazy. That's partially it.
Or that they enjoy playing against bots.
Or they enjoy it. It's because they want to get through this progression. I think someone said to get to max out a weapon, to master it, is level 50. And it will take like 3,500 kills, which is insane. Like that's too much. It's so many. Battlefield 2042, past Battlefield games have nowhere near that kind of time investment.
And on top of that,
master a weapon.
2042, you could queue up for an AI game mode, and that's how you would get your unlocks anyway. But you could do it at least, and it sucked. And I did do it because I wanted to get the unlocks and not have to grind through multiplayer to get it. But you only had to do 1 or 2 games to get all the unlocks for a gun if you played against AI. So
I think they were also trying to remove the portal servers that were just flooded with AI.
Yes.
I think that's the other reason why they're doing this. Like an official mode that you can go and grind if you want, freeing up the space for portal, because they said that every single person can make their own portal server, which was not true apparently, because they got completely slammed.
Yeah, because somebody put out a guide that was like, here's how to grind XP. All you have to do is make your own server and then put on bots and lock everybody else out of it. And all of a sudden DICE is like, whoa, we got 5,000 servers with 1 player in it now. This is eating up our server budget way too fast.
Right.
So they weren't anticipating that. They thought everybody was going to join together and play all the fun, exciting modes together and not XP grind, which is like, any idiot could have saw that coming a mile away. In fact, this has already happened with Battlefield like so many times. It's happened with 2042. The exact same thing happened with 2042. And somehow they're like, that won't happen again. You're like, why?
Just make these grinds less ridiculous.
That's all. Yeah. So that's my main issue is like, give me a challenging weapon unlock system, but make it attainable and make it so that I can play the core game mode without having to exit out of it into some bullshit bot mode, which I'm not going to enjoy, and then spend an hour or two getting unlocks for the gun that I actually want to use in multiplayer. It's just obnoxious because otherwise I could use my gun in multiplayer and grind it forever. But ultimately I'm going to be thinking about, boy, this would be great if I had a suppressor on it and I didn't show up on the mini map every time I fired. Boy, that'd be super cool. All right, I guess another 500 games and I'll have that suppressor. It's just, it's not a good system. Yeah. This is a Band-Aid fix, and that's my issue with it. I don't really care that they're adding casual. Who cares? Like,
I don't mind it. Some people are making a bigger fuss than I think. They're like, it's going to split the player base. I'm like, those players were going to be playing Portal anyways. They're already split. Like, just quit making up arguments that are problems that don't actually exist, right? Because that was already a thing.
Yeah.
That said, how are you enjoying Gauntlet and the Battle Royale now that you've had more of a chance to play it?
So I'll be honest, I didn't play Gauntlet yet.
It's actually really good. It's surprisingly fun.
It's not because I don't want to play Gauntlet. It's because this stuff came out, I think, a day or two before Arc Raiders came out.
2 days before Arc Raiders, yeah.
2 days. Yeah. I played Battle Royale on the first 2 days, and then Arc Raiders dropped, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing
Arc
now.
Raiders time, baby!
Yeah. So I didn't play Gauntlet yet. I think Battle Royale's good. I think it's solid. We played it together. We talked about it, I think maybe.
We talked about it a little bit, but I only had a couple of hours last podcast before.
That's true.
It literally just came out like a couple hours before we normally record. So you've
probably put a lot more time into it than I have then.
Probably not much more than you, but yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because I live stream.
Any new experiences or insights since the last time we talked?
Well, I think the Battle Royale is really fun. I have been pleasantly surprised. I mean, it just solidifies in my mind that it is a slower paced Warzone from Call of Duty, and in a good way.
Yeah, that's what I want is slower paced Warzone. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like if if something goes wrong, you can account for it and you can recover from it. You can run away and get your teammates back in. If like a teammate goes down, you can like it doesn't just end like a firefight doesn't just end instantaneously and everyone's gone, and like that's what a lot of the fights felt like in Warzone. I could be misremembering, but it felt like it felt way faster in that game, and I enjoy the pace of RedSec.
Yeah.
So all in all, like it's been solid.
I
there's
like
some
it.
balanced things here and there with the tanks. Tanks can either be a death trap, or if you don't notice them, you'll just instantly die because you're crossing the street and they'll one-shot you, right? Like that can be a bit frustrating, but like I said, there's ways of working around it, and they've given you a lot of tools to tackle multiple situations.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job with it. It's kind of like we were talking about before. It's very good at not really innovating, but sort of refining a design that's existed for a while into the Battlefield version of that design. And I think it works. One of the things I like about it is like, it's loose enough that you can goof off with it. You can do silly, crazy stuff, get a chopper, try and fly it inside a building, just do crazy stuff that you're like, it could work. And then it does work and it's amazing. At least a lot of cool, crazy moments. Like there is plenty of that in this. Like it's getting all those hashtag Battlefield moments or whatever in the Battle Royale experience, and it's doing a great job of it. And it's slow enough that you can stop, open your map, and be like, hey guys, you want to strategize and think about what our next move is? Like, that's one of my favorite parts of like thinking about PUBG or something, where you open up the map and on like Erangel, the original map, and you're just like, man, we got these bridges. We could try and take a boat. We could get over here. And you're kind of debating. The party's thinking about it. And you're like, well, we did hear those guys over there. They could be bridge camping. And you're basically deciding your strategy together, and you're figuring out what the biggest risks are. And I love that. And this does have a little bit of that, not to the extent that say PUBG does, but more so than the crazy, frantic, fast-paced battle royales do. Where you're just
and I think what might lend itself to that, and something I've really appreciated until the very end, is I never feel like I'm fighting the circle. In a lot of battle royales, I always feel like I'm fighting the circle.
Yes.
And I don't like that in those games. It's like, the circle's here. Great. I'm dead.
The amount of times I've died in PUBG to the circle, and you're just like
Apex Legends, Call of Duty, like it's just it's not fun to be like in the circle taking continuous damage. You're like, oh, okay, you're wasting resources. The way that they've done it in RedSec, I think, is pretty solid. It's slow, and it can mean that matches have some downtime where you're just like kind of twiddling your thumbs, like waiting for the next thing to do. But I definitely prefer the way so far. I've preferred the circle.
I agree.
Until you get to the end, and then you can't see anything because everything's really bright and it's just flames everywhere, right?
Yeah.
That does kind of feel like it get a little too crazy.
You're like, dang it, I shouldn't have brought my IR&V optic to the end game. Whoops.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. I agree with you. The very last bit of the circle is just, it's cool looking until you're like, oh, I would like to actually be able to focus and have a firefight right now.
I would like to be able to actually see what is shooting at me.
Yeah. When the guy's got a giant wall of flame behind him, and you're like, is that a guy? I can't tell. It's cool. And I think they made some important design decisions, like with the circle pacing, that I don't know, have always seemed obvious to me, and yet no battle royales have done it, where you're like, why don't you just change the timing of the circle so we're not always dying to it, but we're still getting pushed together to fight? Because we want to die to each other. We don't want to die to this dumb circle.
To a circle. Yeah. No, it is never fun to feel like you died to a circle, either because it killed you outright or it pushed you into an enemy and you had to get pushed into the enemy because the circle was there, right? Like it's never fun. It will never be fun. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm glad that it's doing well. I think, and overall players have responded to it well. And I like that people are getting passionate about vehicles, this and that, because it means they're interested in the game mode and they're enjoying it. And I mean, that's one of those things that I think, we overlook a lot, or maybe the community interprets incorrectly, is when there's a lot of people angry about some feature online. It's because they're liking the game a lot and they want it to be better. And they're like, this one thing is really like irking me. And so I want it to be changed. And you're like, yeah, if you see a lot of talk about vehicles in the Battle Royale and Battlefield, that means a lot of people are playing the Battle Royale, they're enjoying it, and they care enough about it to want to try and refine the experience as opposed to just being like, this sucks, I'll play the next thing, you know? So I think it's got some staying power. I think they've attracted a lot of the COD crowd as well, as it seems. I am enjoying the clips of the COD pros calling Battlefield players casual and stuff, which is weird.
I mean, yeah, it's a casual game.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's silly. I assume things will get more sweaty as time goes on.
They always do because it gets condensed, right?
Yeah, I'm very curious to actually see what happens with Arc Raiders in like a few months. Is everybody going to be just this crazy sweat running around?
Yes, they will.
You horribly?
The best time to play is right now.
Yeah,
hands down, the best time to play Arc Raiders, if you're ever going to play, is right now.
Yeah. Did you see that Battlefield removed their blue skin that people were complaining about?
I knew that they were making adjustments to skins, and it's like, hey, great. Like, that's why, you make your feedback known. And I think I heard about the blue skin, yeah.
Yeah. So that was basically just they went a little too far into the COD realm of, like, bright skins, basically. Like, bright blue with a silly mask on it. Okay. And enough people complained, and they're like, you know what, let's not rock the boat on this. We'll just delete a skin. It's just a dumb skin. Who cares? And so they got rid of it. So that's not coming out. So it seems like they're kind of paying a little bit of heed to the community here and being like, all right.
The thing is, yeah, and it's good. I think the community vastly overreacted to the skins. I think that 80% of the skins that came out, you may not like them, but they fit relatively the theme of like what they're going for, right? Like they're tactical. But then there was some that had a little bit too much color, and I agree, those skins did not fit at all. I completely agree. But at the same time, even though I think they overreacted, that may have been the only way to get their voice heard, right? Like if you don't overreact, will the devs respond?
I think it's a slippery slope, and I think that's what the community is responding to as well. It's like, one blue skin isn't going to ruin the game, but if you don't say anything and they're like, well, they like the blue skin, how about a neon pink skin? And then all of a sudden everything's going crazy.
Right.
And we're playing Clownland or whatever it's going to turn into.
I want to clarify what I say.
Okay.
Because I agree with you. I think I don't know how else a community can make their voice heard without going too far, right? Or because like if people make really well thought out criticisms, and they like really great post on Reddit or something like that, and everyone agrees with it, like yes, would that be as successful as 20,000 skin posts every day? That's what I'm referring to, where people are like overreacting, because that stuff just gets obnoxious as you're like reading through all these. It's like, okay, we get it. It sucks, I know. But how else does a player base get attention from the developer? So I understand why people are like, no, this is how you do it,
I think about this a lot because it irks me, because as a content creator, the comments that I remember the most are the ones where people are like, hey, idiot, like this is wrong, or you did a bad job. Dumb. You did a bad job and you got this fact wrong in your video. And they're not nice about it. They could have said it nicer, but also I'm like, dang it, I did get that wrong. And then that sticks with you and you adjust, right? You're like, I got to do better. I'm going to correct that. And I got to really like be aware of this bit of facts or whatever, and so those are the ones that stick with me. And then sure, it's great getting compliments on stuff where people are like, hey, I love your content. I've been watching it forever, that kind of thing. And that it's a nice morale booster. But the ones that stick with you are the ones that like really point out your flaws and criticize you for it. And I think that's the same thing with game dev, right? Is like people are like, I love your game, so cool. And they're like, thanks, man. And then somebody's like, your weapon balance is the worst thing I've ever seen. How could you have dispersion do this? And yeah, it's probably not that bad, but also they're not wrong. The dispersion had some issues, with
it has issues. Yeah. It had issues. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they made corrections to it. So it's like, yeah, being a rude person online is not great, but also it's what the devs listen to. They go, oh, they're saying mean things. Fix the game. So, yeah.
Yeah. You should not be mean to devs.
No, you shouldn't, but people are going to be.
I wish, I guess the point I'm trying to make is it'd be nice if we could live in a world where we could have a cordial discussion around certain topics, like the skins in a game, that doesn't devolve into it's becoming Call of Duty. We're gonna have My Little Pony skins next season. Like, that was the overreaction. But once again, I don't know if there's any other way to get the attention of the developers without overreacting. So it's like I guess that's the way to do it.
It's human nature, I don't Matt. I got two young kids, and we always go like, "Hey, would you like a reward for brushing your teeth, or would you like a punishment for not brushing your teeth?" And we always end up with the punishment thing because they're like, come at me, bro. And then we have to go down the...
Do you see what I mean, though?
Yeah. It's human nature is what I'm saying, is like, this is just how we are sometimes. You're like, we could go the easy way, or we could go the hard way. And we're like, the hard way every time. Let's go. So it seems like Battlefield 6 is doing well. I am excited. I really want to play their next map. People have been raging about the latest map, and then also there's an interesting post where they compared all the map sizes of like all the major titles together, and it's like, BF6 has got smaller maps. Like, there's no denying it. And
there's no denying that.
They've clearly locked into some stuff way before the game came out, so we're not going to just get a big map because people complain. Like, it's going to take some time. But
that's what I wish people would understand. It's like, hey, just what we were talking about. You're complaining about this, and that's all great, right?
Yeah.
And they probably see this, but you have to know game development is going to take way longer than just a couple of weeks. Like, oh, you heard our complaints about small maps, and then you come out with another small map. Like, are you stupid? It's like, no, this map was done.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be able to switch it around. Like, it just takes so long to create maps on these scale.
Yep. But I think the devs have heard it, and I hope that we will be seeing some bigger... And I don't even want to see massive maps. I just want to see maps that have like enough breathing room for vehicles to do stuff and infantry to do stuff, which is kind of the classic and, in my opinion, best balance of a Battlefield map, is like, let everybody do their thing and not ruin everybody else's thing entirely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Let the pilots get their kills, but let the players who really are angry about pilots get their spots too, and they have their anti-air areas and whatever, Did you see that Amazon, there's been some interesting news with Amazon, because Amazon has Amazon Game Studios, or whatever they call it, where they
shut down New World.
So it's shutting down. I think it's getting its last update, and then they're going to shut it down, which I think is sad, because it's sort of like the end of the classic MMO era in a way.
Well,
or like,
I don't know if I would go that far.
Not the end of it, but
still World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14.
Not the end of it, but it feels sort of like the end of like major studios trying to get into this genre of games, where they're just like, yeah, we can invest a ton, but look at the risk. It's such a big risk, and we're probably not going to make it, because people are going to go back to WoW at the end of the day and whatever else has been established.
We'll still see new MMOs, but yes, they are. We're seeing, I feel like, less and less. A lot come out from like Asia, like South Korea and stuff like that. They love their MMOs over there, and we'll get like those ported on over. But you're right. It takes so much time and investment, and they're just these massive projects where it's like, do we want to spend this many years developing?
Yeah.
Because there's one that's coming out. I can't remember the name of it, that a lot of people are hyped for, but it's still years off before it comes out.
And I say this knowing that Dune came out, but I don't really look at Dune as a classic MMO.
That's not an MMO.
It's kind of like Mega Rust or something.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. We're sort of blending the genres, where you're like, it's bigger than Rust, but not as big as an MMO, somewhere in between. So unfortunately, Amazon they're laying off 14,000 jobs from their gaming division and all that stuff.
Jesus.
It's a lot. Their VP was talking about they basically for 15 years they had a 15-year plan to compete with Steam. They wanted to take on Steam and put it out of business basically. And Amazon, I think they said Amazon's like 250 times bigger, like as a corporation, like in terms of just like power as Steam. So it was very much a David versus Goliath thing. But reading up on just how naive they were on trying to compete with Steam, because they basically just didn't understand why Steam was successful. And they're just like
they might think that they're Goliath, but they're not. They're David in this case. Like Steam is a juggernaut.
Yeah. So the VP put out like a really candid. It was pretty interesting to. I guess it was an interview, but he spoke very candidly, which is unusual for these big executives. You know, it's usually just here's the bullet points that you're allowed to say. Now say them.
Right.
So he was like just talking about how they screwed up and completely the people in charge of it didn't understand why Steam was successful. They thought they could throw money at the problem and buy Twitch and just use Twitch to promote their game selling platform. And they completely failed, and they're basically bowing out of that now. They're just like, yeah, we can't take it on. People don't want to leave Steam. And it's one, it shows that Amazon is, you know, these executives were completely oblivious to what they were trying to do and probably approached it from the wrong angle. But also, like, can anything take on Steam? I'm all for free competition and a good market, but Steam is not just a game selling platform. It's a social community. It's a reward shop. It's like it has all your data and stats on everything that you've ever played. People don't want to like just get away from that. They're like, it has like this meaning to it. And it's like, we might just be in a world where it's a monopoly, whether we want it or not. And at the moment, Gabe seems to be not abusing it too much, even though, and I've said many times, I think the 30% fee on all sales is, you know, really detrimental to small studios like indie devs and stuff. But, if he is no longer in charge, somebody else could be like, yeah, it's 40% now on all game sales, 50%. Yeah. Like, we're a private company. We can do whatever we want. Like, there's no law that says we can't charge 70% of the sales if we want. Like, obviously at a certain point, publishers will no longer want to publish their games on Steam, but I could easily see a future in which some sort of evil CEO is trying to push that, find the balance, right? Where they're like,
seeing that with audiobooks. Audible apparently takes an unbelievably large cut.
That's a great example.
If you want to be on another platform,
owned by Amazon, by the way.
Owned by Amazon. And if you want to be on another platform, then if you do have it also on Audible, they take like a stupid amount. Like it's more. They take more money from the sale than you get from the sale. I believe. I could be wrong on that, but it's like it is a humongous cut, and that could be what happens with Steam. And it's I don't want to see that, obviously, but I don't have a solution other than there just needs to be more competition. But I'm part of the problem. I want to buy games on Steam. Like I understand that. I completely understand that.
Yeah. I hate the idea of regulation, because the last thing we want is more laws and legal crap gumming up a system. But that is the route that Epic is taking when they're fighting Apple right now. So that Apple can't just basically dominate an app store market so egregiously and take such huge cuts of everything, you know? Because if you make a game on Apple, not only do people buy the game, but then Apple takes a huge cut of like microtransactions and everything. They're just raking in billions and billions on doing nothing, essentially. And so they're what's up?
According to AI, Google's AI, Audible takes 60% of a book's revenue, book sale.
Yeah,
60%.
Criminal.
And if you don't do an exclusive clause, so you have your book on another platform, it's 75% they get. So you only get 25% of the sale.
Yeah, so this is governments failing to regulate monopolies. This is monopolies pushing things to just an absurd level. It's creating more extreme income inequality in the world. It's like, it's everything bad. I think Spotify does similar stuff too. And people are like, yeah, we don't like this. What's the alternative? Nothing. You don't have an alternative because it's a monopoly. So same with game devs is like, okay, what if they can't afford, what if giving away 30% of the sale is what sunk the company? What if they could have made it on 20%, like, right. And these are indie studios that, like, they say it on average, an indie studio has to, like, a new startup with like a small idea is like at least $500K in investment. And then they sell, 800,000 copies of the game, but 30% of that goes to Steam. So now they're at a loss, right? So they could have existed and they could have had enough to keep on supporting the game and maybe make a sequel, because they're like, we made a profit. We can now invest in a sequel. Right. That doesn't happen now because the margins get so tight and it's the people on top. And it's not to say, and Valve makes more money per employee than any other company in the world, I think, at least according to a report from a few years back. So it's not like they're just making it with 30%. They're making it. Gabe Newell bought a yacht company, like he's doing fine. He's
doing more than fine.
Yeah. So anyway, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I don't think I'm going to drop that issue until the issue is solved. And I don't know. Epic seems like if Epic's winning against Apple, they really are making a huge amount of progress. More so in Europe than the States, but it's coming to the States soon. And I think if they set a precedent with Apple, being so egregious on their App Store transaction stuff, then then they'll go, okay, well, now let's look at the rest of the market. Because they do have the Epic Game Store, and they are trying to be a competitor to Steam. And I think they charge like 12% to the devs, like they're just
I don't know the amount, but
it's something like that. Sure. Yeah, it's way less. And they're like, yeah. And also if you hit certain, requirements, like if you make it work on a bunch of other stuff, it'll be even less than that. So they just have all these different ways of doing it. So they're saying, yeah, you don't have to be this crazy aggressive. We don't need all that money. So hopefully they'll take it to more people. But yeah, gamers, unfortunately, consumers, I think by and large are mostly unaware of all this stuff going on because they're like, oh, the game's out. I'll buy it on Steam, the platform that I like. And then I'll play it, and
I don't blame people for doing that.
And I don't
at all.
But it is sort of a failure of the leadership that is supposed to care about this stuff to actually regulate it and make sure that we don't have monopolies, because this is not news to anybody.
Because it becomes problematic.
Yeah. Unregulated free market is a disaster. There's no argument against that. It is just factual information. And that's what's happening, basically. Anyway, that's fun. That's all. I mean, there's not too... it's just Battlefield and Arc Raiders right now for me. There's like other games that people are talking about. I don't know. The guys who made Valorant are working on a new FPS, but they haven't announced it yet. They're just
hopefully it isn't another competitive FPS game.
It's going to be the next Extraction experience, Matt.
I mean, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, I mean, Arc Raiders kind of proved me wrong in a sense where I'm like, yeah, there's no way a new Extraction shooter would excite me. Boom. Here's Arc Raiders. I
don't want to like rub your nose in it, but like I was one of those people who was like, people are like, oh, another Extraction shooter. I'm like, yeah. Another one, but like name all the big successful ones that are still cooking, right?
You did point that out. You made a good point.
Yeah. So I was firmly in the stance, and who knows? Maybe Arc Raiders will slowly die off, and no one will want to play it anymore. I'm not a prophet or anything, but I've always kind of been very adamant that I think there's a market there, and I just don't think anyone has done it well enough to keep the audience. And it looks like Arc Raiders may be finally the one to stick the landing.
Yep. And it's funny because, and I think this goes throughout all the different gaming genres, but sometimes you see a new popular genre come up or whatever, and then the next big competitor makes almost a carbon copy of it, and everybody's sitting there going like, why don't you like do something a little new or evolve it or change it somewhat, And that seems to be just sort of the AAA approach to things, where they're just like, we can't think outside the box, so we'll just carbon copy it and change a couple
almost always that fails.
Yeah.
With some exceptions, because just play the original then.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, I hope that Arc Raiders is teaching other studios how to make games again, because they're going to have a huge Arc is having a huge amount of success. And if there's one thing that business is good at, is it's looking at other businesses that are successful and understanding why they're successful and then copying those formulas. So Embark is showing that. And I hope that the rest of the industry looks at them and says, why are they successful? It's not just some like corporate structure or marketing plan BS. They're making great games. And that's because they're hiring people that are passionate about the projects and they're putting it forward. And I've seen a lot of tweets from the devs and posts from the devs where they're just like, this game is made by people who all really wanted to make the game, as opposed to just people who are just like, yeah, you like making, you're a texture artist, we'll hire you. Like, are you interested in this at all? And they're like, nah, I like working on this stuff, you know? So it's like they got people that were really passionate about the work that they're doing. And it shows in the finals, and it shows in Arc Raiders. And if more studios can do that, and it's hard to do, it's not easy to find people who are specifically passionate,
the right people for the right job,
about the project. But if you can do that, then I think you're going to churn out some better products and give them the freedom to play with it and be flexible. Because that's what Arc was, right? They realized on their own, before we ever saw the game, that PvE was not it. They were making all this kick-ass AI stuff, which is amazing in multiplayer, but on its own, and I think we both agree, it wouldn't be the same without players.
They couldn't find a gameplay loop that was going to keep people engaged for more than just the initial.
Yeah.
Like you play it and you're like, oh, well, that was fun. I'll do it 2 or 3 more times, and then I'll never want to play this ever again, because it just there's nothing more that keeps you going.
Yep. And they gave themselves enough flexibility to basically figure it out early, change it, make it better, and now they have like an incredible product. And they talk about failing fast in the game industry, which is try your idea as quickly as you can, find out if it works, and if it doesn't work, then great. Like, you just saved yourself a ton of time, rather than like spending 3 more years on development and then figuring out that it doesn't work, you know? So try it, fail, adapt, try it, fail, adapt, try it, fail, adapt. And they've set themselves up to do that at a larger scale, which is super hard to do in a big company, because most of these companies just have to come up with a game plan and then stick with it all the way up to launch, whether or not that plan shows flaws along the ways. And we've seen it happen time and time again with plenty of projects.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's me just being a fanboy of Embark. I've become a big fan of the studio now.
Same.
Yeah. Well, you wanna wrap up the podcast and go play some Arc Raiders, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a date.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys all for dropping by the podcast. We appreciate y'all very much. If you want to support the Level With Me podcast more, you can check out our Patreon that is linked below. And if you become a Patreon member, you can watch us record the podcast live on Mondays. And regardless of that, Matt is going to give you some extremely helpful advice every single week. Matt, take it away with some totally not Arc Raiders related advice. Let's see what you got. Just kidding.
Not Arc Raided advice?
I'm just messing with you. I know your formula.
I got something.
Okay.
Avoid going, if you like something, if you're like, damn, this slaps. I'm having so much fun with this. I enjoyed that movie. Don't go on the internet and look to see what other people thought about it, because holy cow, it will ruin your day.
What did you like?
Well, it could be anything. I've been really enjoying Battlefield, so I go to the Battlefield subreddit, and it's just flames of like all. It's just constant, all these things that people hate, and a lot of it's valid. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, oh man, that's not the experience I've been necessarily having. Mm-hmm. And then you go, I'll watch a movie, I'll be like, man, that movie was so good, and then I'll go to the Reddit, and people are like, oh, it was terrible. I'm like, man, I have terrible tastes, I guess, and so. just enjoy things and enjoy them for yourself.
What bad movie do you like, Matt? I want to know.
Apparently all of them.
All of them. You just have terrible taste in
just have terrible taste. Yeah.
You know what? I like enjoying bad movies. That's what, like, I'm
Good bad
really
movie's
excited to see the new Tron movie, which I know is going to be absolute garbage, but I just want to see shiny Tron cycles do stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. It's going to be bad. And I want to hear Nine Inch Nails play the soundtrack to it because it's going to be dope.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be bad.
I mean, it's sitting at a solid 53 critic, 85 user though, so maybe it's not as bad for just
users.
your casual viewership. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
I'm going to say 30% of that is the score. Like people are like,
it very well might be.
Score, man. Yeah, I've been listening to it a little bit. It's good. I don't know if it's as good as the Daft Punk Tron score. That one was kind of unbeatable, but we'll see. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.